everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to make a big portion of basil pesto. Tomorrow we are hosting dinner club and I have a feast planned. I'm so excited for our friends to see all of the beautiful food that I'm going to be preparing. I love basil pesto on sandwiches, I have it on toast, I have it in pastas, I have it as a tapa or anything. And basil pesto really just like zhuzhes up any dish that you might be having. So let's get going. For the ingredients, you're going to be using, of course, some basil. I'm using a combination of 3 nuts, pine nuts, almonds and cashews. This is both unsalted, unroasted. I have some nutritional yeast. I prefer roasting my garlic, so it just gives it like a really nice flavor, and the flavor is less sharp than normal garlic. I have some lemon juice over here. I already cut up those lemons ready for composting. I have my salt, pepper, and then extra virgin olive oil over here. I prefer also roasting my nuts. It also really just gives it a nice flavor. So yeah, in a pan, I already have my pine nuts going, and you'll see they have like a nice brownish color coming along, and you might hear the sizzling sound in the back, but you really have to watch the pine nuts because they can burn quite easily. And when actually at this point I think I'll already start adding the other 2. You can also do this in the oven. As mentioned, I'm going to make quite a large portion of basil pesto today. I really don't mind having a large portion pesto whenever I make it because it is a bit more of a labor intensive snack, I'd say. So it is super easy to freeze it, and I take it out a couple of hours before I start making my pasta or whatever it is. But I'll put up a recipe at the end of this video. You are welcome to adjust and play around with different ratios of the nuts, the leaves, the nutritional yeast, the oil, whatever you prefer the taste of, add more, and whatever you don't like the taste of, remove it. And again, you can play around with the different nuts as well. So it really gives it different flavors, whether you roast it or you don't roast it, same with the garlic. So really play around with this recipe, but I'll show you exactly how I make mine. I'm going to start off by adding my basil leaves to my Maggi mix. I have 180 grams of basil leaves. You can leave the stems of the basil leaves on the basil leaves, as long as they're not very thick portions of the basil leaves, and remember to rinse them before you add them. Next up is the lemon juice. Remember to remove the pips from the lemon juice, otherwise it will give it quite a bit of a bitter taste. And this is the juice of 1.5 lemons. And remember to always wash your hands, otherwise you can't do what I just did. In order to get the juice out of a lemon, or get the most juice out of a lemon, I really recommend like rolling it like this. It really like softens up the lemon on the inside, and then the juices will just come out more easily instead of just slicing it open and trying to squeeze the juice out. Next up is my garlic. As I've mentioned, I preferred oven roasted. So this is actually what it looks like if you've oven roasted your garlic. I usually put it in the oven for about 15 minutes or so, and on 180 degrees, exactly as is. And I just removed the amount of cloves that I need with each recipe, and I keep it in the fridge during the week. It really stays fresh, it doesn't smell, and by roasting the garlic it actually gives it a less of a sharp flavor, and I'd say it's less sharp probably, but I'll show you what it looks like. This is what the garlic looks like when it's oven roasted. You can see it's almost like falling apart, but it's really nice, and as I've mentioned, less of a sharp flavor. I use 3 cloves of garlic. Next up is the nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is quite a awesome plant-based alternative to Parmesan cheese, and it really does give a really nice cheesy flavor to any types of pasta sauce, and when it comes to something like basil pesto as well, of course. So you can add about 5 tablespoons, and because this is almost empty, I'm just going to add all of it. As always, some salt and pepper is needed. I prefer using this one over here. It's from Malden and it is a really nice sea salt with brilliant flavor. If you don't eat a lot of processed foods, you really don't have to be afraid of adding quite a bit of salt to your dishes when you're home cooking. Processed foods usually contain quite a lot of salt, and that's why people usually say don't add too much salt. But if you do a lot of home cooking, don't be afraid of salt. You can really add it to your dishes. It really brings out flavors super well. Now I'll be adding my nuts. I just cooled them down by putting them in this bowl and then putting them in the fridge. But you can either just wait for them to cool down on the stove or coming from out of the oven. This is about 60 to 70 grams of each nut type. So you can make this less or more as mentioned before. Olive oil, you can add about 5 to 7 tablespoons of olive oil for this amount of basil pesto. And then lastly, you can add a bit of water and again adjust the water and oil for the consistency that you prefer. Alright, let's give it a blitz. Oh, good. The consistency actually looks really good. Let me get a teaspoon. Yeah, the consistency looks awesome. Wow, and this is actually perfect. Yeah, I'm not going to change anything. 100%. And that is it. Here is the basil pesto. This one I'm going to be using tomorrow at dinner club, and then I have 2 very large portions ready for home freezing, and it's just going to be awesome in pastas and really make food prep and things so easy this week. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. Just as a serving tip for this, I'm going to be using this, I'm going to be serving this on some sourdough bread tomorrow. And with it, I'm going to have some olives on the side as well as a smoky aubergine dip. So that also might be a good idea for you to make in the future. I really hope that you enjoyed this. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.